Drop it! Drop it right now!
Dramatic body camera footage of a police-involved shooting is released.
A man shot and injured 2 years ago. One of the officers involved pleads guilty in court. Good evening. We want to warn you, the video of the incident is disturbing.
It appears to illustrate how quickly officers turned to tasers and a firearm while responding to a man with a knife at a West Toronto park. CTV's John Woodward was in court where one of those officers entered a guilty plea today. John.
Michelle, we saw Constable Andrew Davis give his guilty plea, and also a judge agreed with our request to see and distribute the footage. And when you watch it, you can see how quickly things escalated.
Hands up! Get down on the ground! Get down on the ground! Taser!
Less than 20 seconds after getting out of her squad car, Constable Sarah Richards had fired her taser at 31-year-old Devin Fowlin.
Stop it! Stop!
Body camera videos released Wednesday after a request by CTV News show how quickly the police response in February 2023 escalated.
Drop the knife right now! Drop it!
A passerby had called police about a man with a knife worried he would hurt his dog. Fowlin was camping there. He'd lost his job at the airport and was homeless. He later said the knife, then still in its sheath, was for cooking. Richard's taser glanced off Fowlin's jacket. Constable Andrew Davis still trying to reason with Fowlin even as he drew his gun.
Why do you have a knife on you?
That's when Fowlin brings the knife to his own throat. Richards yells,
"Oh my God, shoot him!"
Unclear whether she's talking to another officer with a taser or Davis, but Davis follows the order. Fowlin hit in the chest, wrist, hip, and abdomen. He flees. Davis takes him down at Black Creek Drive. Fowlin was taken to hospital. He survived. Davis pleaded guilty Wednesday to assault and using a weapon without lawful excuse.
One of the most shocking videos I've seen in my life.
Outside court, Fowlin's lawyer David Shellnut and advocate Desmond Cole said it's a stark reminder of how police need to slow down before they know what they're dealing with.
This is going to happen again until our city decides that, particularly in situations of mental health crisis, there is a non-police, non-lethal response.
The Toronto Police disciplinary charges say Richards' use of the taser escalated the situation. Its use was unnecessary and disproportionate, and alleged there was no justification for Davis to fire either.
I know Constable Davis. He's a good person. And like all of our members, they're out there doing their best in difficult situations.
This case is an opportunity to improve things for the next person.
Fowlin glad for the plea, but still struggling with the aftermath and hoping the video can teach officers what not to do. Now, Toronto does have a community crisis response that is a mental health first service, but it's not clear it would have been called here because the call was for a man with a knife. After the plea, there'll be a sentencing, and after that, disciplinary charges for both of these officers will likely continue. Richards was the second most senior officer on that call, and Davis was the most junior with just 53 weeks on the force. Reporting live from the Ontario Court of Justice, I'm John Woodward. Nathan, back to you.
Thank you, John. The Premier calls out a group of unmasked thieves who helped themselves to loads of booze at a Kitchener LCBO. Still ahead, what he had to say about them, as police confirm as part of a skyrocketing trend.
But first, to safety concerns as tens of thousands of kids get ready to head back to class.
New numbers out tonight show parents across the province are worried about traffic in school zones, especially when it comes to increasing congestion. CTV's John Musselman joins us live from Etobicoke with more. John.
Hi, Nathan. That's right. It's not just congestion, also distracted driving and speeding, especially in school drop-off zones like the ones behind me. It is quiet today, but this Etobicoke school drop-off zone will be bustling next week when students return to class. It also means plenty of traffic congestion. And a new study by the CAA released today suggests parents are reporting unsafe driving in their child's school drop-off zone.
This is a report that we actually do every year to really understand the different behaviors in the school zones. What are parents seeing and how are they feeling in terms of that overall safety perception?
Here's a look at some of the findings. 83% report seeing unsafe driving behaviors in school zones. That's up 3% from 2024. And 63% consider their child's school zone unsafe. Distracted driving, congestion, and speeding are major issues. In school zones like this one, the speed drops from 40 kilometers an hour to 30 kilometers an hour, but not everyone pays attention. Residents say some cars are still going too fast.
Slow, better slow go.
Speed bumps would obviously help. You can't go 100 kilometers over a speed bump without damaging your car.
Toronto police say just 10 kilometers over in the safety zone will cost you $50 plus a $15 surcharge added on top.
Congestion is on the rise. More and more parents are choosing to drive their kids to school. And so we're asking everyone, we've been out of routine. Let's all do our best and plan ahead so we don't make any poor decisions while we're on the road.
The CAA encourages kids who live close to school to try to walk to reduce congestion, and parents who need to drive their kids should try and park about a block away and then walk the rest of the way in to avoid backups in the school drop-off zone.
And the CAA is just asking people to be careful next week when the kids return to school. Be patient, reduce your speed, and try not to be distracted when you're behind the wheel. Reporting live, I'm John Musselman. I'll send it back to you.
Thank you, John. And starting on September 2nd, the TTC will increase service on 32 bus routes and make route adjustments to help students boarding at stops near schools. Children 12 and under ride for free, while teens pay a reduced fare of $2.35.
Also tonight, protecting or policing. A rally at Queen's Park raises concerns that new legislation, if passed, could allow officers back in schools and cause students more harm than good.
The province has awarded the first construction contracts for Highway 413. Premier Ford says the new east-west route will help tackle gridlock.
It will shorten travel times by up to 30 minutes per trip, helping people and goods get where they need to go faster. Highway 413 will protect our workers and will help us stand up to President Trump.
Highway 413 will run between York, Peel, and Halton regions. Construction will start with preparatory work at intersecting routes, Highway 10 and the 410-407 interchange.
This is the first start of our early works, and we have every intention of using every resource possible to get it done as quickly as possible, as fast as possible, and get as many shovels in the ground as we can across the entire 52-kilometer stretch of this highway.
Opposition leaders say the project doesn't have a clear timeline or budget and won't offer much relief for drivers. Environmental advocates say Highway 413 will carve through prime farmland and put several endangered species at risk.
Time to take a live look outside as we turn our attention to the forecast. Lovely sunshine today, a little more warmth as well. Lots to like, given how the week has felt so far. Lindsay Morrison is here, and we've been saying this is a day to get out and enjoy.
Yeah, this was the one, Michelle, because tomorrow brings rain. The day after that, some pretty chilly temperatures. Today, though, we were near seasonal. Average high this time of year is 24 degrees. We're at 22 right now, and that's after we've cooled down so ever so slightly. Winds once again today coming from the west, and they are breezy, gusting to around 30 kilometers per hour in most cases. Tonight, we are looking at partly cloudy skies, an overnight low of 16 degrees. That's a bit warmer compared to the last few nights. But as mentioned, active weather is on the way. We can already see the rain starting to inch its way closer to southern Ontario. So coming up, we'll give you an idea of how much is in the forecast and when this is all going to move out. That's ahead. But for now, Nathan, I'll send it over to you.
Thank you, Lindsay. As the academic year is set to begin, the debate over allowing police officers back in our schools has been reignited.
There was a rally outside Queen's Park today. Demonstrators concerned over legislation they say takes power away from school boards and could put officers back in schools. CTV's Beth McDonnell joins us with more. Beth.
This rally really voiced concern to Bill 33 as a whole, and opponents are calling it a power grab. But the section involving police requiring it to be in schools has especially hit a nerve.
The issue of policing in schools.
Rallying at Queen's Park to say no. This group fears the impact of police officers inside Ontario schools. Anaf Hassan is going into grade 12.
Students, especially racialized, Indigenous and Black students, having police there creates more of an uncomfortable environment for them than it does create a safe environment for all students.
The Ford government is looking to amend the Education Act under Bill 33. If passed, it would give the education minister more power to take control of school boards around matters of public interest and expenses. But boards would also be required to work with police, giving them access to school premises and allow them to take part in programs and implement the school resource officer programs, which in 2018, according to the Toronto Police website, works to improve safety, perceptions of police, and the relationship between students and police. Hassan says officers doing education in a supervised environment could work, but not in a monitoring role.
We are demanding fund our schools, fund our communities.
The group argues policing programs can disproportionately increase suspensions and discipline of racialized students. Instead of adding police, it wants investment into smaller class sizes, infrastructure, and supporting students with the greatest needs.
Our students, they need more child and youth workers. There aren't enough. We need more education assistants. We need our teachers to be supported.
In a statement to CTV, the Education Minister's office says school resource officer programs help foster positive relationships between students and law enforcement, ultimately making our schools safer. Over the coming months, we will continue to consult with police agencies, parent groups, and school boards across the province on how we can bring back school resource officers and youth engagement programs that will help support students and make our schools safer. I reached out to the TDSB for its thoughts on Bill 33 and police in schools. It says staff wouldn't be in a position to comment on legislation. It says police do have existing relationships in schools, including community officers, and that's always been the case. Reporting live at Queen's Park, I'm Beth McDonnell. Nathan, back to you.
Thank you, Beth. Emergency crews responded to a crash between a TTC bus and a car this afternoon at Dufferin and Glencairn. A bus and a car appear to have sideswiped each other in the middle of the intersection. Police say the crash happened just before 1:30. One passenger suffered minor injuries, and there's still no word on the possible cause.
And 3 people were hurt in a crash at Victoria Park in Steeles this morning. You can see a vehicle flipped upside down in the middle of the intersection. Police say there was a 2-vehicle crash at around 10:20 a.m. EMS says all the patients they transported had minor injuries. Traffic was delayed in this area for the investigation and the cleanup.
Also today, Toronto police shared an update on an investigation on a string of distraction thefts targeting elderly victims. Police say 3 men and 2 women are wanted in connection with at least 5 incidents between last October and February. They now say they figured out who 4 of the suspects are, but they're still trying to identify this man. Anyone with information is asked to get in touch with police at 55 Division.
At his news conference this morning, Premier Doug Ford went on what he described as a crime rant.
He was expressing outrage over the theft of thousands of dollars worth of alcohol from a Kitchener LCBO. The entire incident caught on camera. CTV's Spencer Turcotte has the details.
A group of unmasked men are seen calmly loading bottles of alcohol into bags at this Kitchener LCBO. Police say it happened Saturday afternoon. 6 men in total took off with primarily scotch valued at an estimated $8,000.
Did you see these characters on the news last night that went into the LCBO up in Kitchener? They're brazen bunch of crooks.
Premier Doug Ford caught wind of the theft and took it upon himself to go on what he called a crime rant.
They just do not care. They go in there, they start loading up, and loading up. And you know what's ironic? It's the taxpayers' money, the LCBO. And so they're stealing off the taxpayers.
Waterloo Regional Police say the chief and premier have been in contact over the issue. Deputy Chief Jen Davis said they appreciate the premier's support in arresting and prosecuting individuals responsible for this sort of crime, which is skyrocketing.
We've had over 900 LCBO-related calls this year already. We've laid over 500 charges.
Investigators say this could be linked to multi-jurisdictional crime groups, so they are using the clear cell phone video captured to work with other police forces to find the suspects.
We know that on the clandestine market, this type of product is fetching 40 to 50% of the original cost, which is then being turned into fueling other criminal activity.
Seeing the thieves unfazed by cameras in their faces had Ford reminiscing about the actions of a customer during a Toronto area LCBO theft from last year.
I'd love to meet that guy one day. You gave him a couple slugs in the head. They deserve a slug in the head every once in a while.
Those comments had shoppers divided at the Kitchener LCBO where the weekend theft happened.
There's a lot of ways to use a bottle than just drink out of it.
Yeah, I'd be like, I'm out of here. Peace.
Meanwhile, the message from police is clear.
I don't encourage anyone in public engaging with these individuals. I know it's frustrating, but unfortunately, we don't know if these individuals are armed with any type of weapon.
Spencer Turcotte, CTV News, Kitchener.
Below the border, Americans are mourning the loss of 2 young children who were killed in an attack on a Minneapolis school today.
Minnesotans will not step away. We'll stand with this community. We'll redouble ourselves to do the best we can to understand what we can do to prevent any parent from having to receive the calls they received today, from any school dedicated to children having to respond to a situation that, as we said, is unthinkable, but that's all too common, not just in Minnesota, but across this country.
In addition to the 2 young lives lost, 17 people were injured when a man opened fire through the windows during Mass at the Annunciation Catholic School. All of the injured children are expected to survive. The 23-year-old gunman later took his own life. The FBI is investigating the shooting as an act of domestic terrorism and hate crime targeting Catholics. The Pope sent a telegram of condolences saying he was profoundly saddened to learn of the shooting. Flags will fly at half-staff at all state buildings and at all U.S. federal government buildings until sunset on Sunday.
The Prime Minister wrapped up his trip to Europe with a visit to Canadian soldiers stationed in Latvia.
Mark Carney offered up a message of gratitude after promising new military investment. CTV's Abigail Beeman reports.
Inside a field ambulance, up close with tanks, Prime Minister Mark Carney talked to dozens of Canadian troops to learn what they do, and he heard what they need.
You see how important, for lack of a better term, drones are in the Ukraine fight. We are watching, studying, understanding how that fight is there, but we need those pieces of equipment here in Latvia.
Drone operator Wayne Fraser says modernization would help too, right down to his tactical vest.
It is a little outdated. There's no modular capability with it, which can be a little bit impeding.
We're also, back home, creating a new defense procurement agency so we can build at pace. So the women and men of the armed forces have cutting-edge military equipment that they need and deserve.
About 200 kilometers from the Russian border, the Prime Minister announced a 3-year extension of Operation Reassurance, saying, unfortunately, the need for the Canadian-led NATO mission here has only intensified. Carney didn't take questions. His defense minister pushed on whether Canadian troops in Ukraine was a possibility, regardless of a ceasefire.
These conversations are continuing. Obviously, the United States has an important role to play. So we'll see.
Latvia was the last stop on a 4-country European tour for the Prime Minister, who told Canadian troops here in Latvia what he told Ukrainians in Kyiv, that the strategy for Russia needs to be deter and fortify. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Camp Adige, Latvia.
Border security was the focus of talks between Canadian cabinet ministers and the U.S. Secretary of State in Washington. Justice Minister Sean Fraser called the 45-minute meeting productive. He was accompanied by the Minister of Public Safety and Canada's so-called fentanyl czar, Kevin Brosseau. Fraser says shared priorities were discussed, and the talks were an opportunity to highlight Canada's ongoing efforts to fight against fentanyl and criminal organizations.
Canadian small businesses that have been able to ship to American customers free from customs charges are bracing for higher costs. In 2 days, the U.S. will end the exclusion from shipping fees. It's called the de minimis exemption, and CTV's Rachel Aiello tells us what it means to those who will be affected.
So we'll do a CUSMA form for these.
The United States is scrapping its tariff exemption on parcels worth $800 or less. It means starting Friday, all of those U.S.-bound shipments will be hit with duties.
It would have an immediate impact. The antique parts of our business are a substantial part of what we do, We've seen that business growing over the years, especially down into the U.S.
Many small shop owners like David Pelkey are facing a tough choice. Absorb or pass on the cost, cut off a key market, or go through the complex process of becoming CUSMA compliant.
This is going to have implications for a lot of Canadian businesses, and it's coming at a time where you don't necessarily have a lot of resilience in the small business sector.
But U.S. President Donald Trump dumping de minimis is also set to cost American consumers and could result in big headaches for border agents.
It was there for a reason.
Millions of duty-free packages enter the U.S. daily. But with this change looming, postal operators in at least 25 countries are suspending U.S. shipping, citing the lack of clarity around enforcement. Canada Post is not one of them. Instead, they'll be using a third-party program to collect and send the duties directly to U.S. Customs. The Crown Corporation said the duty will be equal to the tariff rate of a product's country of origin. For Canada, the current rate is 35% for most goods. A key caveat to take note of, Canada Post flagged to us today that documents and gifts valued under $100 US sent from Canadians, not businesses, will be exempt. Rachel Aiello, CTV News, Ottawa.
Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre says temporary foreign workers are taking jobs from young Canadians while youth unemployment is high.
As our young people have a quarter-century high in their unemployment, Mark Carney is expected to bring in a record number of temporary foreign workers to take the jobs of Canadian youth, driving down our kids' wages and their ability to earn a living.
The feds say 119,000 temporary foreign workers came to Canada in the first half of the year, down from 245,000 a year earlier.
Scientists have discovered a dinosaur skeleton in Morocco dating back about 165 million years. It had extreme body armor, including spikes on its ribs and a weaponized tail. Researchers say the elaborate features may have served both as defense and display, and they suggest it would have been very difficult having a collar with meter-long spikes sticking out, getting tangled up in vegetation, and other challenges of the like. The discovery pushes back the origin of tail weapons by 30 million years.
After 8 years of work and dedication, a retired metal worker in France has achieved a lifelong dream. With the help of his grandson, Jean-Claude Fassler completed his 1/10 scale replica of the Eiffel Tower. For the final assembly, a crane hoisted the last steel segments into place, culminating with the installation of the top level. Standing 31 meters, the replica is a faithful homage to the real one. It was built from historical plans Fassler discovered in a 1989 reproduction of the original drawings.
An epic hobby. Coming up, pediatricians report a concerning number of Canadian adolescents are finding themselves in need of medical attention as they turn to performance-enhancing supplements to boost their workouts. Products that are legal and easily available, but in some cases proving unsafe.
Well, considering it is still August, it was a bit of a chilly start to the day this morning. 4 degrees in Muskoka, just barely below freezing in Kirkland Lake. We started off the day at 10.8 degrees in Toronto. We are finishing the day this evening with a sunset time of 8:01 p.m. This is the last 8 o'clock sunset of the season. Tomorrow's sunset time, 7:59. We've got some active weather to talk about tomorrow, and we're going to discuss the long weekend coming up. Stay with us. We've also got another full night of great shows for you right here on CTV.
When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400 from your screen to ours. Text 10400.
If you're spending more days in the office and as a result more time in your car, you're not alone.
Stats Canada says the number of Canadians commuting to work rose for the 4th year in a row. CTV's Carol Charles has more on the challenges facing commuters.
Mitzi Williams is making a quick stop at the gas station on her way to work. She has been working hybrid since COVID, but does go into the office twice a week.
Well, it is an hour drive, so about $20 to $30 I fill up every morning. On top of the fact that I have to drop my kids to daycare, which is an extra 25 minutes further away, so yeah, $20 to $30. That's a lot.
Meantime, at the Ajax GO station, a similar story.
I like the mix. Hybrid is great. I get to go in, socialize a bit, and then also have flexibility.
A recent report from Stats Canada says hybrid workers are increasingly spending more time in the workplace than at home. Some commuters tell us this can be a real challenge.
Oh, it's very difficult to manage because kids are also at home at this time, so it's difficult to manage them also, and the office, it's difficult, yeah.
Meantime, Premier Ford is also calling on all companies in Ontario to bring workers back into the office 5 days a week.
It's time to bring people back to work, that they can be mentored, they can collaborate. It's a lot easier looking at someone in the eye.
Despite the cost to commute, Mitzi does prefer to go into the office.
I do feel like information is a bit more accessible at the office, so I like how much faster I can get the answers I need versus at home. I may have to call into the work or wait for an email response back for some things.
The Stats Canada report comes after some private sector companies, including banks, are requiring a return to the office full-time, with employees going in person 5 days a week by January 2026. Carol Charles, CTV News.
All right, let's talk about the forecast. And this was a pretty good day. We were finally kind of close to seasonal, shorts, t-shirts. Kind of felt pretty good.
It felt really nice, and it is a little slightly refreshing when it's not insane heat. So you had the sun, you had the comfortable temps. I think a lot of people were enjoying the outdoors today.
Well, I'm glad you felt that way because temperatures like this are sticking around for a little bit longer. In fact, we're probably going to cool down before we warm up again. Friday looks a little chilly. Tomorrow is going to be unsettled, but I'm happy to say the long weekend looks great, and some summertime heat returns next week. Let's show you what it looked like earlier today. In addition to it being comfortable outside, we also had beautiful sunshine. So it was a good day to maybe head down to the beach, especially if your summer vacation days are starting to wind down. Lots of people also spending some time at the Rouge Park area. This is great. Great opportunity to spend some time out on the water. Lovely day for a sail as well. We've had breezy west winds the last couple of days and northwest winds in some cases too. Let's talk about what's to come, and that's a bit of active weather as we make our way through the day. Tomorrow, showers, maybe light rain, steady at times through tomorrow afternoon. If you're joining us from parts of Ontario's Nickel Belt region or Muskoka, Bruce Peninsula, you're going to encounter the wet weather as early as tonight and into tomorrow morning. For us in the lower Great Lakes around the Golden Horseshoe, this is more so a story maybe tomorrow morning for a few showers, but certainly into tomorrow afternoon as the front passes through. So with this, we could pick up 5 to maybe 10 millimeters of rain in some cases. I do think around Toronto, we might see a little less than that 11 millimeters suggested, but it is possible. So there's the midnight hour. For us, again, in the GTA, this is more so going to be a late morning, early afternoon setup. There's the noon hour. You can see just how widespread the light, steady rain becomes. There is a chance of some embedded non-severe thunderstorms. By the evening hours, we're hopefully saying goodbye to the wet weather and enjoying some sun before the day is finished. But behind this front, it is going to be cooler. You're going to notice a difference into the day on Friday. Friday still brings us a chance of showers, but it is much drier with some sun, and there's no shortage of sunshine heading into the weekend. So let's talk about the warmth. Is it going to return? We've got lots of heat now in Western Canada. That part of the country hasn't had a whole lot of it this summer. So conditions pattern-wise have really flipped across Canada. We're at 22 degrees right now in Toronto. Overnight tonight, this is a little bit warmer than the last couple of nights. 16 degrees is our forecast low. 15 is the norm, so we're on the warm side of seasonal. Tomorrow, a little cooler than it was today. 21 is the forecast high. Again, showers, the risk of a non-severe thunderstorm, and westerly winds once again. Temperature-wise, some communities are going to stay in the teens tomorrow, so it is a below seasonal day for just about everyone. For us in Toronto, it looks as though Friday is our day where the temperature is going to struggle to make it to about 20 degrees. Here's the 7-day forecast. So Friday, we're going to go with a high of 19 degrees right now. But again, hopefully some sun. Warming up. By Sunday, we're at around 24 for the high. It's going to feel a little bit warmer than that. Labor Day looks lovely with a mix of sun and cloud. Tuesday, as kids head back to school, 25 degrees, maybe feeling closer to 30. And how about 26 for next Wednesday? There you go. Summer not over just yet. Michelle, back to you.
Oh, no, it is not. Thank you, Lindsay. Well, there is more evidence tonight of Toronto's troubled housing market.
The city saw its worst July in decades for new home sales. CTV's Rahim Ladani has more on the impact on buyers and sellers.
These new condos on the Queensway may be going up, but according to the building industry, new home sales across the GTA haven't been this low in decades.
The cost to produce new housing is higher than what the market is willing and able to absorb. And that's creating conditions where new buyers sitting on the sidelines.
Looking at both new condos and single-family homes, this past July, there were 359 sales. Last July, 684 new homes sold. While based on the previous 10-year average, a typical July in the GTA would see more than 1,900 units sold.
A lot of those new condos, they are not family condos, right? They are tiny.
As sales centers try to incentivize buyers, the inventory of new homes sits at 20 months.
I think the relative cost of a house or a condo to what most people are earning on an annual income basis is considerably higher than it used to be.
This report likens the current market to the housing crisis in the 90s. So far this year, there have been nearly 1,500 fewer new home sales compared to the year 1990. Earlier this year, the federal government tabled legislation that would eliminate the 5% GST for first-time homebuyers of a new home. Still, builders are calling for further intervention to help address the stall of new supply.
We're basically have hit a price floor. You can't build it for cheaper. We're looking for governments to take steps to reduce their development charges.
Meanwhile, potential home buyers would like to see builders and government collaborate towards an innovative solution.
Find some of the building material in the near future, some kind of technology or some kind of innovation to make houses cheaper.
Whether it's through innovation, policy, or pricing, the challenge remains finding a way to make new homes within reach. Rahim Ladani, CTV News.
Still to come tonight, the province expands access to RSV vaccines. The senior is eligible to get the shot for free as respiratory virus season approaches.
Pediatricians are sounding the alarm over supplements used by young people while working out.
They say protein powders and creatine are being consumed by kids. And as CTV's Pauline Chan reports, that comes with some potential health risks.
The survey looked at 857 pediatricians across Canada and showed 17% of them had dealt with adolescents who needed medical attention because of dietary supplements or performance-type drugs over the past year.
Most of them are related to things like gastrointestinal issues or maybe some sort of like cardiac issues, maybe in arrhythmias, things of that nature.
Kidney problems were also common. The vast majority of the patients were boys. More than half were aged 13 to 15, and a third were aged 10 to 12. More than half of the doctors say they never screen regularly for supplements or performance-enhancing chemicals, and a quarter said they had no knowledge about the substances.
I think the important thing is just to recognize, especially for parents and pediatricians and healthcare providers at large, is that these dietary supplements in particular are very, very easily accessible. You can buy them at Costco, you can buy them at Shoppers.
Items such as whey powder, pre-workout mixes, and creatine are also available online. And lead researcher Kyle Ganson says their use has been increasing in teens recently.
Certainly social media is a big proponent of this and obviously influencing a lot of young people to go towards some of these supplements.
Use of illegal drugs such as anabolic steroids has also been on the rise in kids, and Ganson says the harms are not just physical.
Also things like body image issues or other disordered eating patterns or overexercising, which again can also cause some other problems.
He says parents and healthcare providers need to know more about these substances and encourage safe use of them. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
The province is expanding access to publicly funded RSV immunization, covering more seniors as another respiratory virus season approaches. Everyone aged 75 and up will be able to get the RSV shot for free. Health Minister Sylvia Jones says that step will help protect the most vulnerable and reduce unnecessary hospitalizations. This fall and winter, now vaccines will also be offered to other high-risk adults ages 60 to 74 and expecting mothers. Some infants and high-risk children will be able to be getting protective antibody treatments.
Also today, Toronto Public Health issued a reminder to parents and guardians. It's advising making sure students are up to date on their required vaccines as they head back to school. They say key actions to take right now include checking vaccine records, getting any outstanding shots, and then reporting them to public health. Students without the necessary records or a valid exemption could face suspension for up to 20 school days.
A Toronto filmmaker's movie has been chosen as Canada's submission at the next Academy Awards for Best International Feature. Telefilm Canada says it selected The Things You Kill as its entry. The psychological thriller was created by Iranian-Canadian filmmaker Ali Reza Katami. The Turkish-language film tells the story of a university professor haunted by questions about his mother's death. The Academy will announce its shortlist for the international feature category in December. The Oscars take place March 15th.
There's big news for fans of Netflix's latest mega hit as it becomes the most watched movie in the streaming service's history.
The world will know you as pop stars. But you will be much more than that.
K-pop Demon Hunters tells the story of a girl group who lead double lives as demon hunters. It received an enthusiastic response on the music charts right now as well, and it claimed #1 at the box office last weekend with special sing-along screenings. Deadline now reports talks are underway for a sequel, although Netflix declined comment.
After the break, keeping your eye on the ball and the prize ahead of the FIFA World Cup. Canada's best youth soccer players converge in Vaughan and get coached up by world-class instructors.
Like all of our members, they're out there doing their best in difficult situations.
This case is an opportunity to improve things for the next person.
Updating our top stories, a judge agreed to a request by CTV News to see body cam footage from a police-involved shooting in a Toronto park in 2023. It shows officers firing a taser and then a gun while responding to a man with a knife. Constable Andrew Davis pleaded guilty today to assault and using a weapon without lawful excuse.
We've been out of routine. Let's all do our best and plan ahead so we don't make any poor decisions while we're on the road.
A new CAA report suggests there's been an increase in unsafe driving behavior in school drop-off zones. It was reported by 83% of respondents, up 3% from last year. The report points to issues like distracted driving, congestion, and speeding. It also advises walking to school, even if it's just for the last block, to help keep drop-off zones clear.
Gridlock is costing drivers and their families far too many wasted hours.
And as part of his pledge to get traffic moving faster in the GTA, Premier Doug Ford confirmed the first 2 contracts for the future Highway 413. The east-west route will run between York, Peel, and Halton regions. Critics say the project won't offer much relief to drivers, doesn't have a clear budget or timeline, and will cause serious harm to the environment.
Remember to keep up to date day and night at ctvnewstoronto.ca and by downloading the CTV News app.
NVIDIA did not disappoint when the tech giant reported its latest results. BNN Bloomberg's Morella Fernandez has tonight's business report.
The world's most valuable company reported earnings after the close of the North American markets. NVIDIA's revenue is up 56% year over year, ringing in at $46.7 billion in its latest quarter. Washington has made it more difficult for NVIDIA to sell its semiconductor chips to China, but that seems to be only a hiccup for the company as it capitalizes on the ramp-up of AI worldwide. Here's a look at how the trading day ended. The Canadian dollar moved up to $72.52. West Texas Intermediate is up 90 cents to $64.15. Western Canadian Select down close to $1.50 at $50.23. And the TSX hit another record close again today, gaining 93 points to 28,433. Those are your business headlines. I'm Mirella Fernandez.
The Business Report is brought to you by Canadian Western Bank, the bank built for business.
Move-in day has been delayed for hundreds of U of T students expecting to settle into a new residence this week. Officials say construction crews have been working around the clock to get the new Oak House residence on Spadina south of Bloor ready for students on August 23rd. But an inspection on the 22nd revealed more work needed to be done. The building is now due to be open about a week behind schedule. Students are staying at one of two other residences until Oak House is ready.
Teens laced up their cleats today for a soccer competition in Vaughan.
As CTV's Jessica Smith reports, the event showcases the highest level of youth soccer in the country.
Growing the beautiful game in Canada.
Where we are right now in this country as a sport, we're in a great place. And it's because of programs behind me here today. We're featuring some of the top clubs at the youth level, both boys and girls soccer.
All right, press forward! Canada Soccer is hosting the Player Development Championships this week for the first time in Ontario at the Zainkin Automotive Centre in Vaughan, bringing together some of the best players in youth soccer.
I think it's really good because it shows us like you can still play at a high level. You can like compete against other teams across the country. So like you can compare yourself against like other kids your age and see like if you really want to do this like into the future.
The competition features 32 teams from across Ontario, Quebec, Alberta, and BC, featuring male and female U15 and U17 athletes.
It's such a vast country. The possibility to bring players from all across the country to one place to see the best players that have done a fantastic job at their different provinces and now be here together, it's an initiative that they push for.
Designed to showcase Canadian talent, it gives the athletes an opportunity to grow their game, meet scouts and coaches.
For us, it's a great project to support all the time, to support football, because football is there. We are seeing them playing. So, and the competition is key for their development.
I think the rest of the world is taking notice of what Canada's doing. Not only are we producing players, but teams now with chemistry between our men's national team, our women's national team.
Looking ahead to the Men's FIFA World Cup in 2026, the tournament gives everyone the chance to dream big.
I do extra training. I played by myself in the park with my friends. Like I would do it. Like it's really fun.
The player development program runs all the way through until August 31st. After that, each of the teams will return to league play. Jessica Smith, CTV News.
It's baseball. The Toronto Blue Jays will go for the series finale, the series win in tonight's finale against Minnesota at Rogers Centre.
And a high drive to deep right center field. And it's carrying and it's gone.
The Twins roared back to win the game. Game 2 of the series, 7-5 last night. This evening, Eric Lauer gets the start for Toronto, who leads the American League East by 4 games.
It's Media Day at Hockey Canada's Olympic orientation camp in Calgary, and a former Maple Leaf is among the players looking to represent his country.
It's what you dream of as a kid. I mean, you always want to wear the Team Canada jersey. It's something, you remember as a kid of sitting around the TV with your family watching World Juniors, Olympics, World Championships.
92 players have been invited from Canada's men's, women's, and para-hockey teams to attend the camps. They're taking part in off-ice sessions through tomorrow.
Just ahead, they've got great hair, an all-new home, and now we know what to call them. The Toronto Zoo's 2 Highland cows get their names inspired by Toronto's stellar baseball season.
Tonight, high-tech driven traffic lights.
Who's at the intersection? Are they in vehicles? Are they waiting at the sidewalk? Are they on a bicycle?
How AI could hold the key to ease gridlock and how many provinces are giving it the green light. Later on CTV National News.
Get Toronto's top stories, breaking news alerts, and watch live. Download the CTV News app.
The Toronto Zoo has chosen names for what it's calling its bovine bros.
The zoo welcomed 2 Highland cows earlier this month to join its outreach and discovery team, and officials say they've already captured the hearts of visitors, staff, and volunteers. And now that they have settled in, the Highland cows have officially been named Blue and Jay. These bovine brothers are 9 months old. Highland cows were originally bred over in Scotland, and they are one of the oldest cattle breeds in the world. They're known for their long horns and those lovely shaggy coats and gentle nature.
When we were thinking about names and what to call them, we were thinking about amazing community organizations that share our values of serving community, of caring. And we couldn't think of a better example than our own Toronto Blue Jays and the Jays Care Foundation organization we work closely with, hosting kids from all walks of life to make sure everybody has a zoo experience, to be a zoo for all. And these animal ambassadors will serve that purpose, connecting kids from all walks of life.
And if you want to visit Blue and Jay, you can do so near the zoo's Eurasia Wild Station. What do you think of the names?
Sounds good.
It's brilliant.
I like it. Seems hot, you know.
Grand Slam?
A grand slam.
It does work for me, and hopefully he brings them some luck tonight.
Oh, maybe.
Oh, good luck, Jays. And if you're heading to the zoo tomorrow, just prepare for the fact that we do have some rain in the forecast. Light rain likely, but waking up tomorrow morning, you will likely have some dry periods before those showers and light rain move in. So daytime high about 21 degrees, a little bit cooler than it was today. So plan for that. Here's how the active weather plays out. By tomorrow evening, we're hopefully done with it. Chance of showers follows us into the day on Friday, but it is a drier day. An even cooler day with temperatures in the teens. But let's talk about the long weekend. Sunshine for Saturday, Sunday, mix of sun and cloud for Monday. Temperatures where we expect them to be this time of year, and even warmer through next week. Michelle and Nathan.
That looks like a lovely stretch. Thank you, Lindsay. That's it for us, but be sure to join Omar Sachedina tonight at 11 for CTV National News, followed by Zoraida Allman with our next local newscast at 11:30.
In the meantime, our coverage continues anytime on CP24 and at ctvnewstoronto.ca.
For Lindsay Morrison and all of us here at CTV News, thanks for watching and have a great night.